United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects...
Ooh, I hope no one heard that big gulp. Hey, what's up? My name is Noelle, and I am a DIY bangs trimming at 2 in the morning. What are you?
Oh, I thought you were going to keep going with that.
Did my good accent just catch you off?
You ended with such like an inflection that it implied that you were going to keep going. You're like, hi, I'm Noelle, and my hat. And then that was it. I thought you were going to keep talking. And I'm Chelsea. I am a trim my bangs on my first lunch break and then have Noelle say that it looks like a middle schooler's butcher job in the middle of my work day.
If there's one thing I can give to you, it's honesty.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll always do it.
I think I'm going to fluff them up a bit more tomorrow.
Well, I think, honestly, if you...
like maybe use product and blow dry it correctly?
Blow dry is the word I was looking for. I lost the word blow dry. You blow dry it correctly, I think it might work. Also, stop breathing into your fucking microphone, you barbarian!
How else am I supposed to breathe? Look at what happens when I try to breathe through my nose. Watch my nostrils.
Ew! Ew, bitch! Oh my god! You're congested.
That's why I sound like so nasally all the time. Because I don't breathe through my nose.
You sound nasally because your shit is plugged up. I sound nasally because my shit's always dripping.
Man, the opposite of problems all the time.
We hate to see it. Also, shout outs up tops. Shout outs to all the love on the Spotify Wrapped Day. Appreciate
it was so nice to see it.
Appreciate ya. A lot of it always blows my fucking mind when I realize more than 3 people listen to us. And it makes days like today, if you breathe in your microphone one more time, bitch, I
don't know what to do, man. I'm going to have to breathe. You've never brought it up before. I have not changed the way I breathe.
You're going like this. Like, I can't even, let me try to imitate it. Like, that's what it sounds like. It's breathe like huffing out like a fucking bull.
Guarantee that I have not changed the way I breathe.
Maybe move the mic down a little bit.
What if I move it up so that like
that might away
is
from
that better?
Your fucking
oh my
mouth
god,
breathing.
You're fucking critical. Okay,
it was
dearest.
Crazy.
Don't look at the wire hangers in my closet, you fucking lunatic. Jesus,
it would drive me insane. Anyway,
I don't hear it. It just happens.
Anyway, it makes days like today where we have to come and do an episode right after everyone says how much they like us very hard because I want to be like, the pressure is immediately too much and I no longer want to do it.
Both me and Noelle sending messages like, hey, what's tonight's topic? At 4 p.m. isn't usually a good sign.
It's true. It's true. Well, we have like multiple topics in the chamber, including, yes, we hear you. We will redo Mother Teresa. It's just they take a lot of research and time and effort. And if I'm being frank, I didn't feel like a lot of effort today. I got the shit beat out of me today at work and emotionally. And I was just like, woo, if I have to put on my research hat and act like I've got it together, it will not be well for me or you or anyone.
Yeah. We try to commit to 5 pages because Tara really likes it when the episodes are an hour and I'll kill myself before I disappoint her. So we try to do 5 pages because that tends to be about an hour, and just the thought of having to come up with something. It's not so much the writing, but it's coming up with stuff. I don't know if you experience this too, but sometimes
writer's block? Yeah, shit, dude.
It's like almost topic block. Stuff just doesn't sound interesting.
We have multiple spreadsheets and nothing sounds interesting depending on the time of day that I look at it.
I have a closet full of stuff with tags on it and I want to wear none of it. That's the emotion.
Exactly that.
So,
I mean, if you wanted more proof that we're unwell, Chelsea cut her bangs on a 15-minute break. So, like, obviously today's not the day. Yeah. Today's not the day for investigative journal. I lost. I was really good at the beginning with my accent, and then it left. An investigative
journalism. Oh,
it's not a day for investigative journalism, mate. I don't. Did they say mate? Though, I don't know. But was it good?
No, that was actually pretty good. Thank you. Actually, this episode, I ended up getting sucked in. I'm not going to say it got away from me.
It did. It did because I see Lemurian seed crystals, so I immediately know we're off the deep end.
Go fuck yourself. No, okay.
I immediately know we're gone. When Chelsea says we're going to do like a freeform loosey-goosey episode, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And then 3 hours later, she goes, I got lost in the sauce. I go, we're in. We're in for it. We're in for it. You guys buckle the fuck up.
Probably that is a little.
If you hit your mic one more time,
I don't know what to do, Noelle. I have to clean off my glasses. I have to fucking breathe. I'm not aware that I'm doing it. Jeez,
you're a fucking mess. Oh, as I die. Before we get into that, up at the tippy top, Discord is popping off, and you can join that server through any of our link trees that you'll find in any of our bios from any of the social media sites that you're on.
Yeah, go Facebook, there and comment how Instagram. Mean Noelle is to me all the time.
No. Okay, now you've made it. I don't know if you're too low or I made you too low. I'm, again, running a tight ship here.
Oh my God.
Now you're very loud. Okay,
loud?
Just watch no, that's fine. Just watch your mouth breathing.
Just stop breathing.
Just the mouth breathing, your big huffs.
I have to mouth breathe. For those of you who didn't see when I was demonstrating to Noelle,
no, they fucking heard it, bitch.
When I try to breathe,
like you had so much glue in your nose.
When I try to breathe, my nostrils collapse through my nose. They like.
Oh, the sound! It's fucked.
Look at my nostrils just collapse.
I can't even look because I hear it. Yeah,
look at that one. It's like
seek help. You need to get your shit rotor-rootered.
Probably, but I literally physically, my nostrils go. Bloop!
Yeah, you've got to get it rotor-rooted out.
I got to open sesame somehow.
Yeah, we'll do it. Get the snake drains cleaners. Put one of those up there.
That's the only thing that can penetrate my nasal cavities at this point.
Fucking looks like it. But anyway, speaking of boogers, Linktree and all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. From there, you can get into the Discord. You can get into the private Facebook group. You can get a link to our merch site. You can get a link to Wild Wood Owl or Kelly Holloran's stickers and pins that she's made for us. She's also getting ready to drop something extra special, which she's hinted and previewed at on the Discord server. So check it out. Check that shit out. It's fucking dope. And I've been loving hanging out in the Discord. Different channels in there. Everyone's getting crazy, from gore to not safe for work to mental health venting sessions to just a great little general chat. It's fun. Hang out. And then I'm Noelle Fain, and that's Sith Lord. Follow us on everything. And Patreon. It's $1. Girl, I
have held in that cough for like 6 minutes. I am just terrified to clear my throat.
Oh my God. No one's going to pay $1 now. Pay $1. Unlock weekly episodes on Patreon.
I didn't cough on Patreon.
Literally, yeah, you're waiting for now when everyone has to hear versus the safe space.
I have been trying to make an effort to not say so much. So,
girl, make an effort to not cough a mucus ball on the mic. Instead, I'll deal with the
I have asthma and nasal breathing issues. I am not set up for success in this scenario. All right. Lemurian seed crystals part 2. Just kidding.
Oh, Jesus.
But
Wait, can I say something about Lemurian seed crystals?
Yes.
This might hurt your feelings.
I'm already down. Just kick me some more.
I think you got ripped off.
On my seed crystals?
Yeah.
But I got like the smallest ones possible.
Yeah.
You think I got ripped off?
Yeah, because I've seen bigger Lemurian seed crystals with even more fragmented pieces inside of it, which apparently is whatever you need for those to work, for like $1.25. So I don't know if I want to know how much you pay.
If
paid for these rock chips, but I do
Kyle's
say
crystal crafts ripped me off after I left them such a glowing Etsy review. I feel like they're authentic. Like, you have to hold them up to the light and squint real hard, but you can see the etchings.
So, but this is what I'm saying. The Lemurian seed crystals that you got from Kyle's Crystal Crafts are literally like pebbles in a fish tank sized. I've seen some that are as big as my thumb, and they're like $1.25.
Yeah, the ones that I got are small enough to fit up the collapsed nasal cavity that I'm struggling to breathe through with room on both sides.
Yeah, you could use it as nail art, honestly. Glue it on your finger.
Yeah. A baby could eat it and the doctor would be like, not a big deal.
Yeah, they'll pass it fine.
Oh, well.
But don't internalize it too much. We were young in our adventures and in our journeys. We were ripe for the picking. And I do think that Kyle did give us what he felt. Maybe he like put his hand over it, was like, these are the ones with the most energies. I do trust him. Maybe that's the service we paid for, was the vibrational energies he felt when he was perusing through his crystal collection. He was like, oh, it just so happens to be tiny little rock chips I'm going to mail to these women. But I assume his intentions are good. But I thought about getting you one of the bigger ones because it's literally probably after tax $1.50. And then I was like, will this hurt her or heal her? So
I would like it.
Okay.
I would like for you to do something nice for me after this verbal lashing.
Oh, fuck. So, but, shout out to Kyle, though. I think he's great. I just want to let you know that, they come in other options for sizes, I guess, is the
affordability of gemstones has really been hurting my feelings lately, just knowing what I've been through.
Yeah. The true affordability of a gemstone, when you've been ripped off twice. Oh my God. Yeah.
I have a rip off for each hand.
You've got, what is it? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush?
Is that what that means?
With your
Spencer Pratt?
That's you getting ripped off. Wow.
My God. When I see all of the gemstone TikToks, I don't even remember. Did I get carnelian? I don't even remember what I got. But when I see carnelian on TikTok from like what it actually looks like, plus like the necklace you got me or the stones that you got me.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, you got some made in China. You got some like those bead kits that they give to 5-year-olds to make them be quiet in kindergarten.
Yeah.
You paid $50 plus shipping.
My breathing is just as loud as ever. And I think it's because of the expensive plastic crystal bracelet I bought from Spencer Pratt.
It's from the fucking mesothelioma you've developed.
Yeah, it's just asbestos. It's just been congealed into a sphere.
Fucking shit. Anyway, let's not focus on how you've been ripped off.
Let's talk about my one true love, the thing that will never hurt me, Antarctica. It feels good. So I recently hosted a birthday party that you skipped at my place. And of course, people
we were not here.
I don't care if you were out of town with family. So, and as people came over, they toured my Antarctica room. And then I also have a large note on my chalkboard wall that says Admiral Byrd Altar. So naturally the questions arise. People walk in, they see Admiral Byrd Altar. Like many other things, I've procrastinated on it. That was all the way back from our tarot card episode. So
oh my God. I thought you were just like manifesting that this is the altar.
She told me, the girl who read our tarot told me that I needed to like get an Admiral Byrd thing, and just below crystals to mail them, it says Admiral Byrd. People see that, they naturally want to go upstairs to the Antarctica room, and that's where I lead them. The downside is whenever I talk about Antarctica, people get distracted by flat earth theory, which is what the flat earth theory is for. And, I try to explain the red herring of what flat earth represents. They didn't buy into it. I was like, I got something that I'll really sell you on. Brought out the Lemurian seed crystals. They were in my car, still waiting for me to drop them off at the post office.
Yeah.
And tried to explain past life regressions, how Antarctica might be part of the Atlantis mythos. And people just kept joking about the semen crystals. They're like, seed crystals, like jizz. And when I say that I felt so underappreciated at this party. I say it with my chest.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Because I was bringing books downstairs and I'm like, the Smithsonian giants are real too. And they all just might as well spit in my face.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's different.
Yeah, and you know what? The audacity of these people that I tried to get to listen to our podcast.
I mean, I will say it's a tough sell when you start off with Antarctica, flat Earth, and past life regression and through crystals. That's a tough sell. I think that's a tough sell. That's the toughest sell. Meanwhile, we have like based in reality, true crime deep dives, and yet the thing that you want to present on the platter to people is past life regression through scammed crystals you got online.
Someone knocked my Spencer Pratt crystal off of my little Antarctica shelf too.
Wow. Did it break?
No, so I think it's actually plastic, not glass, because it was absolutely scuff-free. But it did inspire me to kind of go back to our roots and talk about Antarctica again. And we're going to talk about it many times more. But hopefully all the people that I bullied at the party will consider everything that I said. And even if they dismiss that, maybe what we're going to talk about tonight will ring a little bit truer for them.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's talk about it based in reality.
Yes. So these first parts, not a conspiracy. We're just going to go over a quick synopsis of Antarctica stuff that we've talked about before, starting with the literal oasis in Antarctica called the Schumacher Oasis, where soil remains warm enough that ice and snow don't build up on it. And it's actually warmer than the coldest place on Earth that Utahns live. That was a Freudian slip. It's cold as balls today, but where humans live. So for context, the Schumacher Oasis averages about 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not cold in my opinion.
I mean, that's like just your opinion, but I guess in the context of Alaska, it's not, or not Antarctica, it's not that cold.
And then the coldest place, and I'm sure I'm saying this absolutely correctly, is Oymyakon, Russia.
Great job.
Oymyakon is the actual coldest place where humans live on Earth. And I Googled what their high temperature was for today, and it was a whopping negative 33 degrees.
Okay, we should just never go there.
I will never want to.
No, that sounds awful. And sometimes I like to pretend I'm pro Russia, but today, thinking about that cold, I'm not.
Yeah,
also,
you're
with
not
the wind chill. No way.
Oh, I don't know how people do it. Like, why would you fucking live there?
Vodka.
For God's sakes, it's Russia. Why punish yourself more? Just kidding. For any of the Russians who are allowed to listen to non-communist propaganda, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting deleted over there immediately that you said that. I will say the oasis in Antarctica looks kind of like a Utah desert. And honestly, those types of temperatures are common for desert climates where you have the high highs and then in the exact same day at night, you'll have the low lows. It has a body of water that doesn't freeze. And it has the kind of like rolling green hills. It's really interesting. It looks just like a desert area in Utah.
And that's not a conspiracy. Like for context, the lake that is 15 miles away from my house freezes every winter. In the middle of Utah, we're not up in the mountains or anywhere crazy, but Pineview freezes over. This place in Antarctica is warmer than that.
Yeah,
it's absolutely not a conspiracy. Not a conspiracy. So the science is there, and for some reason or another, the oases of Antarctica aren't really something that are advertised to us. You really have to go searching for them. Basically, the way that they describe Antarctica is that it's a need to be their basis, which is really just a fun way that world governments can get out of letting the general public, like you and me, charter a trip there or go there to visit. And all of these areas, like the oasis, are absolutely cut off to the public. And if you and I wanted to go to Antarctica, we could spend about $10,000 to maybe hang out on a coast. And that's it. So the other strange thing about it is the consensus that all of these international communities have on this continental lockdown. Like, you think people would be a little bit more selfish about it, especially with what we're seeing in the Middle East. People don't just give up land. So Again, another thing to look at with Antarctica. So let's talk about another fun Antarctic feature. It's subglacial lakes. In particular, we're going to talk about Lake Vostok. So another part of the propaganda machine, which tries to convince us that a place is uninhabitable, comes along with access to water. And something that doesn't get talked about often enough is that Antarctica has plenty of freshwater lakes and has a lot of them. In fact, they have 400 the last time we counted. And Lake Vostok is interesting because it sits 13,000 feet below the surface of the Antarctic glacier that covers it. So it puts it 1,600 feet below sea level. So I'll say that again, 13,000 feet below the Antarctic glacier that it sits under. And it also 1,600 feet below sea level, yet it still manages to stay absolutely fresh water. It has no access to the ocean whatsoever. And size-wise, it's no slouch. It's about 1,400 feet deep, and it is the 6th largest lake in the world. I would like to see it just because of its isolation. Like, imagine the otherworldliness.
6th largest lake by volume. Don't get carried away. 16th largest lake by surface area.
Okay.
Where did you get this information? The Smithsonian? Come on.
Yeah, I'm still on Google at this point of the podcast, but we'll switch over to the Bing research real quick.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And before the Russians took a core sample and pierced the ice shield that was on the surface of the lake in 2012, it had remained undisturbed anywhere for 15 million to 25 million years. So to put that in a timeline context, like human ancestry has only existed for 6 million years. So it's believed that because the lake environment has been sealed off for so long, its conditions more closely resemble Jupiter's moon Europa, meaning that it is so cut off from Earth's biological history at this point that it can only be described as alien terrain.
Uh-oh.
Isn't that fun?
It's never good.
So we have to, of course, talk about what that means and what exactly lives in Lake Vostok. And the fun thing here is that because the water is not sterilized, it serves as its own isolated ecosystem. So when they were able to get a core sample from the water, the scientists found about 3,500 unique DNA sequences, meaning that everything tested in there were things we hadn't seen before. And this was like little microbes, bacteria, tons of different life forms, and all of them are unique to anything on like the DNA record of all of Earth's history. So imagine that if life can thrive in Vostok, then it begs the question if its twin, Lake on Europa, is its own breeding ground host to even more undiscovered life forms. Just food for thought. Something to think about.
Are we about to say, because I say some people know, those of us on the outskirts of the internet know that one of the new favorite theories among ufologists is that aliens are not necessarily coming from the skies, but coming from the oceans. And there has been multiple videos released of people on military ships or on cruise liners seeing like UFO type orbs nose diving into the fucking water. And of course, the fun like phrase, we know more about outer space than we do what's at the bottom of our own oceans. I really feel like the last 5 years have spun this, like aliens are here and they live in our oceans underwater.
I agree 100%. I think even when there's smoke, there's fire. And that's why the Navy has more UFO documentation than any other military branch combined.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what is that? Is that what they're saying? Because like this Lake Vostok has alien DNA in it and is not accessible by people? Is that
Maybe.
what you want to say? Okay.
Let's talk about the lake.
Okay.
So, as you may guess, or maybe not, the lake became an immediate pissing contest between scientists. So while the Russians would be the first to drill into the lake, Americans were quick to come in and improve the process to actually take bigger and better samples without risk of contamination.
Oh, it's like the space race all over again.
Exactly. And the Russians would pull water from the lake for DNA inspection, but then the Americans would criticize and claim that their samples weren't viable. Then they would come out with their own samples, and of course, the American samples would be perfect.
I mean, peace and love. You know, I'm not here to like say America's great. You know, that's the last thing I'm going to say. And sometimes I prefer being pro-Russia back in the day, not pro-Russia now. Sometimes we shouldn't believe the Russian testing, though, because that's why we thought we had Rasputin's dick in a jar, but it was a horse for fucking ever because of the fucking Russians.
Yeah,
saying that they did a DNA test and it was Rasputin, and then actual peace and love scientists came through and were like, no, babes, has a horse cock in a fucking jar, and they lied to us. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe let the Americans take a little sample.
I'm not one. Well, maybe I am one to constantly praise the United States because I do like to cosplay as a Republican in my free time.
You do, man. You do. You can't even pretend that you're not
I look so good wearing my sister's like veteran hat, going to pick shit up for Puffin while wearing like booty shorts and then our Who shirt, and to have old people respect me because they think
not with
I'm
your
a veteran.
Fucking pink hair now. You really when you were blonde,
got one of these like
the Republican sugar baby. Not anymore.
I got a ma'am the other day as I was walking to Petco from a real old dude who stops every veteran he sees and says like, thank you for your service. I was walking too fast at the time with Puffin, so I got a ma'am.
Look at you, Miss Stolen Valor. Were you going to go to fucking Denny's and get a discount on your meal too?
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't. No, I absolutely wouldn't do that. But
she says,
I will take the praise. I will take the praise of any boomer who and above who thinks that I'm only worthy of like respect because of a hat. My sister threw that hat away because she was so mistreated by the government, and I asked if I could have it. So she got it out of the garbage and gave it to me. I wear her trash hat with pride.
That is true. That is very true. If there's anyone who hates the U.S. government, it's veterans. It is veterans. So and God bless them.
They earned that right because
they did.
They were treated like shit, and America sucks.
That's true.
But in this case, we'll be a little rootin' too, and also we're not going to talk about the United States that much. Okay, because Captain America is a perfect personification of a hero. So happy anniversary, by the way. I know you almost forgot, but tomorrow, December 3rd, when most people are probably going to be listening to this, it was the end of the Cold War. So it's like 30th
oh my God, my favorite war. If you want a war that says girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep, it's the Cold War. It is
a delicious war.
Yeah. The justification of war came with the Cold War. It may have ended December 3rd of 1989, but it lives on forever in our hearts and the continued communist propaganda. Yep. So, God bless America.
But I will argue that the Cold War is still going on in Antarctica. So It lives on as a ghost of its former self. And this could be due to a multitude of different reasons and maybe even like lingering ethnocentrism.
Are you and the Cold War the same age?
I am a year older than the Cold War. So it's 30.
No, the Cold War is 33.
Am I a year younger than the Cold? No, 88 Are you before 89. I'm older than the Cold War.
You're older than the Cold War?
I lived in the world for about a year, for a little over a year. I was born into it, baby. Don't question me. I'm the bane of the Cold War.
You and the Cold War. So wow, everything makes sense.
So, yeah, wow. I don't know how to math. I just assumed that 89 was my birthday until you reminded me.
Oh, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you. So, yeah, happy birthday to the Cold War ending, but it lives on in Antarctica. And it's probably because Russians in the United States are still kind of beefing. Mm-hmm. But when you really start to cut the cheese, so to speak, if you look at things like bacteria with no known weaknesses, we start to toe the line of a new and very dangerous kind of warfare. And weaponizing alien DNA isn't really anything new to the conspiracy world. throw a rock and you'll hit 5G, you'll hit COVID theories. But imagine that happening. Like, imagine a 5G tower coming up in your neighborhood, and then all of a sudden it gets flagged and studied by scientists all the world over trying to discover its secret. Mm-hmm. Definitely that puts a little bit more juice into what's going on with Antarctica, because most of those things like COVID wasn't a biological weapon. The government says 5G towers aren't mind control things. The government says. Most people are like, yeah, because there's not very much fuss going around these areas.
Yeah.
And honestly, when it comes to science, it shouldn't be political, but it 100% is.
Oh, baby, we know. We're living in 2021. It's the most politicized thing ever.
And it's with Antarctica, it's like such a microcosm of just bullshit. And the fact that they keep lying to me about it. Oh,
it sounded really sane of you.
Thank you.
To say that.
So in 2017, Greg Hunter did a piece about political and religious leaders making trips to Antarctica. And we're definitely going to talk about this again. And in his piece, he quotes Empire Beneath the Ice by a man named Stephen Quayle.
Are we going to talk about fucking Nazis again?
Maybe one sentence.
Okay.
Not really. So author Stephen Quayle said, quote, "Here is the $1 billion question and probably the $1 trillion question. Why are the world's religious leaders and most powerful leaders going to Antarctica? I don't think the Russian patriarch is going down there to meet penguins, with no disrespect meant. Oh, disrespect. Someone or something has summoned the world's leaders. Something is happening and the Antarctic is critical. It is my contention that because of the advanced technology of the Third Reich, that they went under the ice, so to speak, and came into contact with sentient beings that Werner von Braun and other have made many references to many times before they passed away. So all of this is a matter of record."
It's true. The Nazis were obsessed with aliens, and specifically, oh my God, remember when, was it the Elohim? The Aryan Nazis?
I don't think the Elohim. That's like
the Aryan aliens.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I'm getting all of my.
Not the Venusian. The Venusian was Valiant Thor.
It's the Aryan aliens that Hitler literally picked, like his
Nordics.
The Nordics, of course. Yeah. How could we forget? How could I align biblically accurate aliens?
You're not a beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby like me. You could fit. Also, I'm surprised that you confused the Elohim with the Nordic. But now that I think about it, that's a fascinating theory.
Don't even. It was literally, my brain is mush out of all of the crazy we talk. But yeah, the Nordics, who are a alien race, whereas like everyone probably knows your typical reptilian who looks like a little Liz, or the Greys, who are, tiny little gray guys with the little beady eyes and shit. And then the Nordics are super fucking tall, not albino, pasty white.
Very Caucasian, yeah.
Yeah. Pasty ass white, blonde, blue-eyed aliens, and they are specifically who Hitler decided that was the perfect being, and he was always trying to fucking talk to them and get a hold of them and be like, "Hey babes, what's up?" And of course, not of course, people probably don't know that the Nazis were drilling/digging in Antarctica to make a trip to the center of the earth where they thought these guys might be hanging out. It sounds crazy. It sounds like a sci-fi novel you find at a grocery store, but this is literally Hitler's agenda. It should surprise you that this was his shit.
It's also not that weird if you even look into the geographical location that Hitler supposedly went to. He went to perhaps Colombia. Most people think Venezuela. If you want to go to Antarctica, you have to stop in Venezuela first, because it is the lowest point to get to Antarctica. So if he was going to try to find Nordics, that's the fucking place you have to go.
Yeah.
Very
I mean, it just, I don't know. This sounds like conspiracy, and I don't want people to be lost on it. It's very real, and it's very
None of this is conspiracy so far. So, and when you put all of those records, it points to this. There is some entity or group of entities that are thinking and have advanced technology and basically give orders to the religious and political leaders of our day. The history of the world is not what it is. It's only what the powers that pretend for it to be.
Yeah. What's that really famous line? Oh man, my brain is so mushed. The winners rewrite.
The victor rewrites history or whatever.
Yeah, the victors rewrite history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
So we don't want to go into any of the scientific things that the Nazis really pursued. We don't want to acknowledge that we stole all their scientists like Werner von Braun, and then we went on to do the Manhattan Project with German science. A lot of stuff gets pushed under the table, and if you have people going to Antarctica, political and religious leaders, it's fucking suspicious, and that's not a conspiracy. There is no reason for them to need to go there if it's all a place that strictly need to be their basis for science, which is what the government tells us. So let's get back to Lake Vostok now. Somewhere around 2016, a whistleblower group came out against the United States and Russia, claiming that the misinformation that they've been putting out about Antarctica is to hide a massive truth, especially as to what Lake Vostok is actually hiding. Why'd you have to highlight it, man? According to this group at UFOinsight.com, scientists don't edit my documents with sassy highlighting. Scientists installed a specialized elevator over a period of 10 years. And it's basically just something like what we would use for a mine shaft so that they could gain easier and faster access to the subglacial world.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I highlighted that is because I wanted to go to UFOinsight.com.
Uh-huh.
And I will say the website isn't giving typical paranoid person with a WordPress vibes. They kept it clean and simple, which I do think if you're going to make a crazy website is the way to do it. Biggest red flag, recent articles, no comments, no views. But Marcus is really out here trying his best to put out paranormal research.
I mean, no comments. I'm going to comment on one right now.
I'm literally not a single comment on anything. They also have a cryptozoology section and a supernatural section. And, I'm
going to join their newsletter.
It's just Marcus. I have not. You should, honestly, unrelated, you should contact. I don't know if he'll let you in on a piece of his pie, but he's written every single article. It's only him, like the St. Catherine's Poltergeist, the truly strange and bizarre locations of just the world, period, the mystery of Kentucky's blue people. Oh, baby, we've been there. I can
subscribe to UFO Insight Max for a small fee of $2.99 per month.
He wants $2.99. He has 0 comments.
I'm going to sign up.
You're going to be the only guy, my dude.
Fact check, I'm going to be the only girl.
You could start. You can do a 3-day free trial.
Yeah, I'm signing up right now. Gotta confirm my password.
$2.99 a month. The same. It's
practically. I have to put in a credit card. It doesn't accept PayPal. I don't want to go downstairs and get my purse because we're literally in the middle of an episode.
He says UFO Insight Max costs only a small fee of $2.99 per month, the same price of 2 newspapers. All of the funding we receive, we babes, it's just you. We receive from Max subscribers go directly back into producing the content you enjoy reading. We are a nonprofit, but bills have to be paid for hosting and the thousands of hours of research required. He's not wrong about that. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah,
and okay, so
anyway, a really reputable website, and I will not say anything otherwise because they had cited sources and everything, So
if your cited sources are the WordPress site from,
it just links back to your website.
Yeah, it links back to an article you wrote previously.
This story was on multiple websites. I picked the well-written one to cite from.
Holy shit, dude. He's no joke. Marcus, maybe, you know what?
Yeah, you better walk the fuck back 5 steps.
I'm gonna moonwalk back, dude, because this is no joke. Oh my gosh.
So
this
chew on that. Thank you.
I mean,
everyone wants to shit on my websites, and then they never go and look at the websites that I pull information from.
Wait a damn second. Hold on, wait. I might have to backtrack forward. He's citing his own source. Hey, he is the source. He is the source. He is the source. He's got 13 sources, and they're all https ufology.patrickgross, and then you click to it. What?
Oh, I'd love to see it. That's basically our podcast. This entire episode's been about previous episodes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm moving on. One of the scientists.
I haven't decided where I stand on Marcus because this is incredible to me.
Marcus, we've been homies from the start. Hit me up. You'll know it's me because I just subscribed to your newsletter.
Okay, one of his sources is just a page. It's just a page. You know what? They never expect you to click on the links, and I'm here to fact check. Anyway, go on.
So one of the scientists and one of the whistleblowers who was part of these expeditions was a man named Dr. Anton Padalka, who defected from the investigation and now lives under the protection of asylum in Switzerland. And in 2012, Padalka and his team of 8 men descended to Lake Vostok as part of a specialized Soviet research team. Here's what happened. So the team was all fit in scuba gear because it's an underwater lake, obviously, and it was pitch black and nearly impenetrable by natural light. So the men were trained to keep in close visual quarters. And at one point, they noticed one of their divers was a little bit further away from their ranks. And obviously, for safety reasons and for visual reasons, that's not what they would have preferred. And Padalka watched his colleague drifting at just the edge of where the flashlights that they were using stopped, penetrating the darkness. Mm-hmm. And the person was just floating around and hovering there. And in old Western movies, like right before a fight breaks out, where it's just eye contact between the different parties before someone pulls the first shot. Mm-hmm. Imagine that you are a member of this scientific group. You're in a group of 8 scientists, 13,000 feet just below the surface of the most isolated place on Earth. You realize that diver hovering at just the edge of your flashlight isn't part of your group. They're a 9th diver coming out of nowhere. Dead silence.
You hate to blackness. You hate to see it.
And soon, this extra kind of passively floating diver drifted to the marine biologist on the team. And Padalka and his men could only watch in horror as a whoosh, like gunfight started. This thing tore the man apart. It was a sudden, chaotic scene of blood and limbs. Everybody starts panicking. Everybody's losing their minds. Radio operator Alexis Vinogradov was the next closest man to the creature. But in a really odd and terrifying scene, a plume of octopus ink came out, but it immediately immobilized the guy and he got ripped the fuck apart too. The rest of the scientific team was all scrambling to the surface, and they left behind the only female, just basically letting her fend for herself. And her name was Dr. Martina Kalashnik. She was essentially left for dead by the men and this mysterious shape-shifting creature, because as soon as it went to reach for her, it went back into its form and looked more of what we would describe as an octopus. And she had enough time and wherewithal to grab her ice axe that she had with her and just started fucking hacking at this thing and killed it. So the team dragged the creature up into this elevator shaft, pulled it to the surface, and immediately Soviet security was fucking on them, separated all of the scientists who came up from Lake Vostok, and immediately the beast was confiscated. And
it's The Thing.
100%. And guess what we heard about it? Not even a blip on international radar. The remaining Soviet team sealed the entrance of the elevator shaft to prevent anybody else from being able to easily access the lake. And according to the leaked information, the creature was informally named 46B. 46B is in boy. And was brought to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who obviously heard about what it had done and wanted to specifically weaponize its DNA and turn it into some sort of warfare technology.
Damn.
So 46B, as mentioned earlier, resembles an octopus, except it has 14 tentacles instead of 8. And it was studied enough that scientists were able to determine that its closest relative was most likely the Vitridelonella.
You're doing so
I wrote
good.
it phonetically and I'm still struggling. Ricardi, otherwise known as the glass octopus. And I put a little picture there in the notes. That's a glass octopus. Mm-hmm. So, and unlike regular octopi who keep ink in their sacks to get away as a safety net against predators, 46B expels a venom, which allows it to paralyze from a distance. So remember that radio operator who was swimming away and then suddenly just went completely stiff, his face fucking frozen and like a terrified scream? Mm-hmm. He got caught up in that, which is how he got ripped apart. And perhaps the most terrifying thing about 46B is its ability to shapeshift into whatever it wants. And before you shit on this idea, look at the camouflage capabilities of any octopus now. And in fact, if you look up the mimic octopus that lives in the Indo-Pacific, here's how it's described. The mimic octopus is a species of octopus from the Indo-Pacific region. And like other octopuses, it uses its chromatophores to disguise itself with its background. However, it is noteworthy for being able to impersonate a wide variety of other marine animals. And here's a picture of that below of it resembling like a crustacean, like a little hermit crab. So Padalka was haunted by the image of 46B impersonating a diver and just fucking floating in the darkness, waiting until it got close enough to attack. And he was so upset that he lost 2 of his men when he was supposed to be in charge of their safety. And he was also disgusted with himself that they left the only female scientist on the team to fend for herself. And, you know, that's girl rough. Power, she fucking did it. He fled to Switzerland for asylum, and he is still there. If you look him up, you can look him up on Google even. And a lot of the Russian like propaganda machine came out and said that like he's kind of an idiot, but it stands to reason that it's like very interesting that this entire team was dispersed and none of this was talked about.
I mean, so, yes and no. It's Russia.
Yeah, true. I mean, so what do we even make of it? It's easy to dismiss the rantings and paperwork from a disgraced Russian scientist, but it's not so simple really when we look at the history of the Soviet Union, specifically its scientific endeavors, with some even rivaling Nazi UFO programs. So after the breakup of the Soviet Union in the early 90s, KGB documents were available for purchase on black markets, and some made their way to the United States, who formally recorded their contents. And some of these documents contain tons of information about one of the most infamous men involved with Soviet intelligence at the time. And his name was Vasily Mitrokhin. I did okay there.
You're trying.
So in his research, Vasily documented UFO sightings all the way back to World War II. And guess what? In these documents, there are numerous records of the Russians taking special interest in aquatic creatures as recently as 1982. And in fact, some of the documents from the Russian Navy reference notes from a Russian diver named Vladimir Adhaza, who witnessed some subaquatic things in Siberia's Lake Baikal. And guess what? The Russian Navy took his sighting so seriously that they went to fucking battle over it. Literally, the Navy came in and fought whatever the fuck was going on in there. So a lot of the stuff was redacted, which is, you know, what governments like to do. But there's mention of underwater enemies, underwater entities, solar weaponry, and 3 men on the Russian side who ended up dead. And if you really want to take a look at this, just look at any aerial images of Lake Baikal and you'll notice right away really strange circles that appear in the ice which a lot of people like to believe this is either alien landing, alien impact on the environment, or even evidence of UFOs sitting just below the surface of the ice.
That image is interesting.
That was just like one of the ones I pulled too. If you Google like Lake Baikal aerial photography, these pop up. It's not like you have to go to Bing and then go into a Reddit post and then go to a WordPress site and then go to Angel Fire. It's right there on the front page of Google. And we could probably do an entire series about Russian secrets when it comes to cryptids and aliens.
God, are you trying to get us fucking killed?
Sure. They wouldn't let me buy a tapeworm off of the internet. So yeah, Russia's on my shit list.
Pause. I think people have bits and pieces of that story, but I don't think they fully know because we reference it often about you and your experiences with the dark web.
Well, yeah.
But
so for those of you wondering, no, I did not succeed. Now I just count my calories. But about a year ago, I tried very hard to buy a tapeworm off the internet, and I got led because they make you skinny, and I was very drunk at the time. It was an unhealthy thing. I didn't succeed, but I filled out it was like basically Russian Etsy, and they sent you these little tablets that had tapeworm embryos, and then you eat it, and then they make you skinny. I immediately got my email hacked with all these KGB things, like the KGB watches you now. I thought it was but nothing ever came from it.
You think?
I eat healthier.
You fucking think?
Yeah, I fucking tried, man. That was hard. I'm not very good at buying
legitimate things on the internet. I just like that you went to the Russian dark web and tried to buy a tapeworm, and all you got were KGB threats in your email.
Yeah. They weren't even like that fun. It was just basically like you're trying to buy illegal stuff. I'm like, isn't that illegal? Like on the tier of bullshit you can buy off the dark web, a tapeworm tablet? Get out of here.
I mean,
unsuccessful. Counting calories, y'all. Who would have thought? I came down to food.
Who would have thought?
Time.
Who would have thought?
So, you interrupted my really good pun, man, though.
What were you going to say? I could not stop thinking about drunk you ordering a fucking tapeworm from Russia.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Attempting. B, so 46B, isn't even the tip of the iceberg.
That was it? That was your thing?
That was it.
Great job,
I feel like
Kelsey.
It would have hit better.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't have made a difference. But I'm
as successful with my puns as I am with buying Russian, Russian medicine. But there is certainly something going on, and there is enough evidence to assume that Russian scientists have the market when it comes to documenting underwater extraterrestrials. And not to misalign the Russian government, but in parentheses, also fuck them. But I doubt their discoveries are going to be shared for anything other than nefarious means, i.e. biological warfare.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, remember, some of the most important and influential people to live during our fucking lifetimes converge in an area so remote that not even NASA satellites can document it to have a fucking secret meeting.
Yeah.
And again, I quote Empire Beneath the Ice, that someone or something has summoned the world's leaders, and that something, perhaps 46B, is only the beginning.
I mean, so are you trying to say, because I can get behind aliens in the ocean. Sure. I can get behind that. Are you trying to say that they're intelligent dictator aliens?
I think that we are being misled as to what's going on in Antarctica, and we're the butt of the fucking joke because every leader who supposedly has our best interest in mind is meeting to talk about how to exploit it and how to hide it from us. So it always comes down to the lies about Antarctica. I don't know what's going on. Do I think that this happened? Yes. I believe everything happens. I think that they pulled something out of the ice that they don't want us to know about. 100%. That's why we don't get any aerial images of Antarctica.
Absolutely. That happens every day. That's 100%. It's literally the thing.
And if a scientist comes out with all of this evidence and then it's available on these websites, but then there's also just as many articles talking about how crazy he is. Mm-hmm. I think it's like a similar thing with like flat earth, you know, they're trying to like put up all these red herrings and these red flags to detract you from what's really going on. And that's
purposeful disinformation.
Yeah. It's to distract the fact that religious and political leaders are going to fucking Antarctica to have a meeting instead of going to what? Literally anywhere else. We hear about Bohemian Grove all the time. What's more secretive than Bohemian Grove?
Yeah. It is interesting. I mean, it is in the sense that I know that it doesn't matter what your political leanings are or where you're at geographically on the world. When you hit a certain level of wealth, you ascend past all of that. When
past morality, yeah.
Yeah, like literally, when you are, well, like, and everything you do is essentially cosplaying, but like in reality, the billionaires and trillionaires of the world, like not even the millionaires, they're kind of like, you know, low tier.
They're the poor man's billionaire.
Yeah, the poor man's rich boy. Like when you're in the billionaire and trillionaire level of humanity, like you're not, no one fucking cares if you're a Soviet spy or a conservative businessman or if you're from like a rich family in Ethiopia. I don't fucking know. No one cares. That is poor people's fun and games. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the greatest example is like, you know, fucking Bezos and fucking Elon trying to go to space just themselves, to do it themselves, to go inhabit their own little fucking planets or make their own little satellite stations out in space. Like, they're playing a different game. So to think that there's secret meetings with the world's elite happening in Antarctica and no one knows anything about it, like that doesn't surprise me, because like those elite leaders and people of like that, you know, wealth bracket, they just play by different rules.
It's like when someone wears a floral shirt with striped pants, you're like, this is fashion, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Just a different type of
the greatest thing is like, name a trillionaire, name a billionaire other than Bezos. Like, they're out there and you don't even know who they are. They're doing shit every day that you don't know about. Mm-hmm. So the fact, like, you can't even fucking name them. They hide in plain sight, essentially. So if they're like out here meeting in weird fucking, you know, like
with religious people, like what the fuck? I expect political people to be like into this kind of stuff. The religious people going to Antarctica has got to be suspicious. What are they doing there? That
doesn't surprise me.
Well, that's like a different type of elitism.
You have to have people in cahoots with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, and peace and love. Like, if you are going to like infiltrate some sort of power, like those are your sheep right there. You know what I mean? So you get that guy, you get the religious leader as the private jet on board with your shit.
Part of like the theory about why Antarctica is off limits when you get to the flat earth end of it is because of like the celestial access you have, because flat earth theory says Antarctica is the edge. If you go to the edge, then you can see God, deities, that type of celestial stuff. So this is where you kind of get the red herring things, because then flat earth people are like, why are religious people going to Antarctica? Focus on that. And then they focus on the fact that Antarctica is the edge.
No way, man.
It fucking is, man.
No way, man. That's in the wrong direction. No, the religious people are getting involved in the same way that all corruption happens. Like the high up religious people who, you know, have multi-million-dollar homes and, you know, get away with molesting little boys. they are on that same playing a different game than the rest of us. They're not playing the game of morality and humanity. They're playing a different like they're on that billionaire trillionaire level where they just have different rules and they live different lives. And getting them on board with whatever they're doing, it makes perfect sense because like you want those people backing you when you do something crazy, like whatever they're working on or planning or whatever, like you want those people on your side because then the people who follow them and listen to them are just inherently going to follow again. No offense, but like it makes so much more sense to me strategically that it's like this, it's kind of like a coup. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus like the religious people are going there because they see deities on the edge of the earth. No way. The religious people are going there because they are like religious leaders because they're just as into the bit as the billionaires who buy fucking their own islands are.
Well, it's like the opposite of manifest destiny. Like, we're no longer going west. Like, God wants you home. Like, it just shuts down any of the natural curiosity that people like Magellan sailed the ocean blue for. I need to think of someone I don't know what ethnicity it was, but I'm trying to say anybody other than Columbus.
But yeah, I agree that it's all sus. And I think that's, I don't know.
Sus
interesting.
Squared.
It's interesting.
Fun, right? I thought maybe I would squeeze the orange of this episode and maybe get 2 drops of content. And then it ended up being.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Antarctica delivers every time.
It does.
It's never let me down.
I mean, it might.
You know, I was walking and there were 2 sets of footprints and then there was only one. And you want to know what? Antarctica was carrying me. Is that how that is how it goes?
Something about Jesus, yeah, right? He's the one walking next to you. I don't know. Right? That's what it's about?
Yeah, but Antarctica was carrying me.
I thought you were going to say Admiral Byrd, but like here you are.
No, Admiral Byrd flew me in. I do need to make my altar for him. I'm slowly coming along. I have an entire room in my home that's becoming the Antarctica room, so I'll get there.
I have like 7 altars, so I don't even want to hear it. That's why I'm so powerful right now. I'm just kidding.
I'm powerful because I was trying to find out your information about my friends, and they didn't know it, like your ring sizes. That was terrible. I need to edit that out. That was stupid.
No, leave it.
I'm not powerful because I have a TBI and I spend all my free time cutting my own bangs poorly.
You want to? I mean, that also might mean that you're powerful. I think that I'm so powerful with all of my rocks and altars. That's why my intestines are failing. Too much power. You know what I mean?
Rock. You need to get like a rock that's good for digestion.
And shove it up my ass.
You know, one time my old roommate poked me in the butt with some quartz that she bought at Crap Lake City, and I did poop the next day.
You know what? Maybe we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a try. Maybe I'll put a quartz in my asshole so my colonoscopy, they have something to find while they're up there.
Yeah, maybe the fact that you've tried nothing and you're still out of ideas, you should maybe try something.
I've tried things.
I've tried things. I think what you've tried is just copious drinking, but
that is true.
Which I think it works for me. Like
I did an enema, and arguably exacerbated the issue.
Now you just trapped water in there.
Well, no, it came out, but then I felt horrible. I felt horrible. But you know, I'm not a doctor, so. But I'm just saying, like, I might as well get my money's worth on Wednesday and just start shoving stuff up there, so it's like a little fucking surprises.
Ask them which rocks they would recommend for.
Yeah, which rocks do you think I should put up?
And they're like, definitely not hematite. Actually, hematite might be good. It's a grounding.
I know, right? What am I gonna? I'll put some rose quartz up there.
Do you want the plastic that I bought from Spencer Pratt?
That's what's gonna get me real fucked up. That's how I'm gonna get ass cancer.
That's right. You touched it. You touched him on the 4th of July, and now you're fucked. That's when your problems began.
Almost in September. Not close at all.
Or the water you drink in New Orleans.
Oh, honestly, though, here's the thing: to the listener who looks at people's poop as a science and a job,
you're saving lives.
Who said, hey, you might have a parasite from the New Orleans water. If this comes back and that's true, I owe you like $100 or something. Yeah, I owe you like a steak dinner.
Yeah.
I will mail her the pictures of the inside of my asshole that they take. I'll frame it and I'll mail it to her.
I'll put a little Christmas wreath around it. It's like your little Christmas card. I kind of want one too.
I'll give one. I think they take like 30. That'll be Patreon only content.
Yeah,
but if it comes back and they say like it was, because I mean, if we're doing the math here, people, it almost perfectly lines up with when I was in New Orleans, and that was right after they had a hurricane, and I did drink some New Orleans water.
Oh, you're drinking dirty alien water.
And peace and love to them. That was my bad. But it's just like you're in the shower and you just open your mouth and you're like, ah.
Yeah, but I'm less worried. I don't shower upside down, so I'm not worried about any like bullshit getting into my mouth. The fact that you got poopy ocean water and now you're shitting parasites. Yeah. Maybe you could put some of them into a little pill for
a pill jar,
sell them on Russian.
Oh, fucking shit! But anyway,
but I'm sure there's money in it,
dude. I know there's money in it. This is so off topic, and we'll get out of here soon. But IUDs go for a big fucking hunk and chunk a penny.
What? Why?
Because like I steal mine out of the garbage when I get them replaced, and I keep them and I frame them because they are little soldiers.
But why? How do they go for money?
I don't know what people are doing with them. I don't know if they're trying to use them themselves or it's like a fetish thing. I don't know.
Fascinating. Huh.
But people buy them.
All right. Well,
but they can't have them.
We live in a society, so
it's true. Oh man. Hey, here. What is it? Rule 33.
Rule 34.
You think 34. 33 came before it, though.
You're thinking of the anniversary of the end of the Cold War.
Yeah. Rule 34. If you think about it, like it's happened. So people are out here buying used IEDs.
Good on them.
Maybe.
I'm gonna end it.
Okay. Hail Satan.
Hail Antarctica, and the fact that I don't think there's a single IUD being sold on the black market there, but who fucking knows what the Russians have done to it? What the Russians have done to my baby. Yeah, we'll find out. All right, bye.
Bye.